You mean I can't just blog this month and then skip 3 months and then blog again? No, my friend, you cannot do that. Because blogging inconsistently or creating content for your website inconsistently is not actually going to help you as much as if you choose a schedule that works for you and go about creating the content on a weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis and let your audience know that this is how often you're going to be creating that content. Hi, I'm Amanda, and I help creative business owners to get their creative genius out into the world, and I create content like this video 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So if you don't want to miss anything from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will be happy to help you out with some more videos. So let's get started about how to blog consistently. This is something that I find every single client that I work with, they just struggle to maintain a regular schedule when it comes to creating consistent content. So my tip number 1 is to make sure that you know what medium you're using to create your content. So are you using the written format? Are you using written plus photographs? Are you doing a podcast type thing where you record your voice and you just add that and add a little bit of a description about what it is that you are saying in the podcast? Or are you doing video content? Choose what medium you're going to use and then try to stick with that as much as possible so that every time you are starting to build a process for yourself, if you have a process, it'll make it easier. The other thing to think about is what are you going to put into categories that you could possibly come up with for topic ideas. So if you have categories of topics, you're going to make life a lot easier for yourself. So with blogging or with videos, you can come up with kind of a header of what that actual topic is and then come up with some little subcategories of what might go into that specific category. And then you can start brainstorming ideas for content. Once you do this a couple of times, you're going to see that you have a ton of ideas and that you just need to figure out which ones will work best for you and which ones will work best for your audience. Now, my next tip is to figure out when in your week might be possible for you to do this content creation time. So looking for a larger time chunk where you can just sit down and work on that one thing, or you can take photos or whatever it is. So I like to do this. I didn't when I first started my business because I thought, what is this? I don't need to do this time blocking thing. I don't need to do that. But once I started doing it, I found out that it's actually really beneficial, really helpful. So basically what I do is I look for time periods in my day, each day, where I have a lengthier period of time to sit down and focus on the one thing that I'm going to be working on. For instance, today, this is a Monday, and I had time from when I woke up until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to record a bunch of videos because I didn't have any kind of client calls or anything that I had to attend or anywhere I needed to go until that time. So I've decided that I'm going to batch all my videos for the week so that all I have to do after today is possibly edit the videos and upload them and do all of that kind of stuff. But actually recording them, I will have that finished. And what that does is it makes it easier to release that content when the day comes that I am scheduled to release it. Now, I did this before with blog writing where I decided I was going to write for like 8 hours. And I had a friend who did this with me. We held each other accountable and I sat down and I wrote for 8 hours and I got 8 blog drafts done. Now, I didn't do anything else during that period of time, and I realized that you may not have 8 hours to sit down and to write your blog posts, but you might have 2 hours or 3 hours. If you can sit down and do one task for that chunk of time and just do that task alone, then you're going to probably get a lot further than if you were to, let's say, just do it for 20 minutes. So if you set aside a couple of hours to work on something, maybe 2 hours to write, maybe 3 hours to take photos, then you will get a lot more done in that time if you have that time set aside. Now, my tip number 3 is to make sure that you have all of your tools and all of your preparation done beforehand. So take all of your tools and put them in one place. If you're doing videos, get all your outfits together. I know us ladies, we like to change up our shirts when we are recording videos. So I like to lay out the outfits the night before, so that way I know these are the outfits that I'm going to wear. Super simple. I might just choose different accessories, change my makeup a bit, and then I am ready to go. So I don't have to go into my closet and think, oh my goodness, what do I need to wear? What did I wear last time? I don't know what to even wear, and then just give up. Now, for photography, I like to put all of my props into one place and have one area of my office where I'm just focusing on taking photos. And I have my backdrops there, I have all my props there, I have my camera and my camera lenses there. It's all in one spot so that I can just sit down and do that thing and be in that one spot, kind of like a station, where I can get everything done as quickly as possible. When it comes to writing, you might want to get out your notebook, get out your pen, figure out where you're going to sit while you write. Or if you do it on the computer, you might want to make sure that you close out all of your windows, every single window for that period of time, and have your computer ready so that when you go into your computer that next day, you're going to be ahead of the game because you've already closed everything out. You don't have to click on your Photoshop tab and wait for that to close down, or close down 5 different projects that you have open. You don't have to do that because you have already done the prep work. Another great thing that I love to do beforehand is to figure out what I'm going to say. So for my YouTube videos, for instance, I like to use Trello, and I like to lay out kind of the points, the talking points that I'm going to have for that particular video. So I'll have the title, and then I'll have some points of what I'm going to say in Trello. And that way, when it comes to making the video, I don't have to scramble for what I'm going to say. I actually know what I'm going to say. The other thing that I do for blog posts is I use a Google Doc to also lay out my blog post. So I'll put in my outline into the Google Doc, and then when it comes the day of, all I have to do is go into that particular document that's already created, already ready, and then I can just write away. Now, the next tip is to make sure that you are going to focus and cut as many distractions as possible. So I know the temptation is real when it comes to keeping your social media closed, when it comes to not checking your email every 5 minutes. I have that problem. Or to keeping every tab open on your computer. If you are sitting down to write a blog post and you have 15 tabs open in your browser and you're thinking about what you're going to say next, it's going to be very tempting to click on another tab and to just get distracted because you're trying to do something that maybe isn't easy for you, or you're trying to do something that maybe you are just really easily distractible if you have other things going on. If you get rid of those distractions altogether, then you're going to help yourself to get this thing done that you need to do quicker. So cutting those distractions will benefit you a lot and will take you a long way. Now, I also like to kind of prioritize some potential distractions. For instance, if I need to keep my phone on so that my husband can contact me because he's out and he needs to tell me something and I just need to be available for him, then I'll keep my phone on and I'll realize that that is a distraction that I'm going to allow to maybe hinder me if I need to, because it might be important that day. But instead of keeping my social media open, I'm going to log out and make sure that I have all of that stuff closed out, so that way I can pay attention to that one potential distraction rather than having 50 distractions that I don't need. So that would be my suggestion to you, is to think about how can you prioritize potential distractions. What things are important? If you have a child and you have to pay attention to that child, of course you have to prioritize that child. But if you're trying to manage writing your blog content or making a video or creating photos for your website, and you're also trying to manage social media, and you're also trying to manage email, and you're also trying to manage your kids, then it's going to be very difficult for you to make any progress. So prioritize the things that are potential distractions while you're doing this thing that you need to do, and then eliminate whichever ones are not important. My last and final tip to you is to take the time to schedule out any kind of post that you can. So if that's social media, I use Recur Post and Planoly to schedule those things out ahead of time so that it's super easy for me, so that I don't have to scramble the day of. So I can take 3 hours on a Sunday afternoon to schedule out all of my social media posts for that week, and then I don't have to worry about it throughout the week. Maybe I might have to do one small task here and one small task there, but I don't have to go about starting from scratch and then going and creating it, and it just takes so much more time. So I can also schedule videos in YouTube, or I can hit the schedule button in WordPress to schedule out my post. You have to have all of the pieces in order to be able to schedule things out, but as long as you've taken that time up front to do everything, then the rest is easy. For instance, these videos that I'm doing for YouTube, I am doing them all today on Monday, and then I have my posts go out, or I have my videos go out on Wednesday and on Friday. So because I am doing that, basically all I have to do is record them all, maybe try to edit them all today if I'm able to, and then on Wednesday and on Friday, I don't actually have to do anything because I will have all of the work done ahead of time and I'll have it scheduled out. So then I maybe just can reply to comments that I get, or I can just share it on social media. I don't have to do anything else. I have done all of the steps ahead of time, and it makes me have more time on those other days to do other work that I need to get done. So if you're struggling to put out consistent content, you really don't need to have this as a struggle. You can take the time to do some prepping beforehand. You can cut out some distractions. You can make yourself a plan, and then you can schedule things out. By doing these different things, you're going to allow yourself to start having a process as well. And through that process, you're going to find where you can kind of cut corners and make things a lot easier on yourself so that you are putting out consistent content. Now, I'm a big fan of putting out content for the next 3 months or the next 6 months, but things do come up. So you have to realize that you are allowed some flexibility within the things that you do create. So just because you create something doesn't mean that you actually have to put it out there if you come up with a new idea or whatever. So realize that as you're batching this stuff, that over time you might want to change your mind about something. So you can totally do that. It's not something that is set in stone that you have to keep forever. Creating consistent content doesn't have to be hard. You just have to follow a few steps and get yourself set up so that way when it comes to releasing new content out to the world, it's not as hard. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below. I'd be glad to answer them. Let me know what you're struggling with when it comes to creating consistent content. I, of course, create new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would love to know what things that you'd like to hear about. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section anything that you are struggling with, and I would be glad to see if that is something I can create a video for you about. As always, I will see you next time, and stay creative until then.